Hello, I am Alex,
And I'm Lainey.
and today we are going to talk about the retirement mindset shift from before retirement to after retirement. And first of all, we're not financial planners, so please seek your financial advice from financial planner. And also, you'd be doing us a huge favor if you just hit that subscribe button. So please do that.
Yes. So the first thing about all of this is the planning stage.
Yeah.
You need to plan emotionally and financially and all sorts of things like that. So, you might be excited, but you might also be a little bit nervous, a little bit scared about what retirement has in store for you. And so you really need to look into that and kind of face those fears head on and, talk about it with your
I think some people are afraid of, what am I going to do? Am I going to have enough money? Is my money going to last? Am I going to be bored? And I think the answer to that is no, your money won't last. And yes, you will be bored if you don't plan. Mm-hmm. So think about these things, especially if you're a couple, talk together. What are we going to do together? What do we like to do? What's our retirement going to look like? How long are we hoping to live? Will our money last that long? You need to look at all these things.
Yes, and also keep in mind that you have to plan for potential health changes. Mm-hmm. The likelihood of you being healthy forever is not probably very realistic for most people. And so what's the plan for that? Do you have long-term care? And do you need to move into a single level home? That might be something that you might want to look into as well.
And also think about these things while you're still working, because if you're thinking it would be a good idea to move, maybe you should do it before you retire, before you quit, or at least have the funds, have it all planned. Some people, you see the ads on TV, they rip out their bathtubs and put in a walk-in shower. Well, the ad makes it sound like they cost nothing, but that's not true. They are expensive. And maybe you should do that before you retire out of money that you have from your job. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things like that you should think of. The next thing that you need to think about is your new purpose. When you're working, your purpose, I suppose, is your job. You are, what are you? I am a teacher, I am a lawyer, I am a whatever, an accountant, whatever you are, you're defined by your career. When you're retired, you are no longer defined by that. You are now defined by your life, by what you're going to be doing. And so you need to figure that out. What do you enjoy? Mm-hmm. Are you going to take up new interests, new hobbies? Perhaps you're going to become the neighborhood pickleball champion, or perhaps you're going to take up golf and dominate the golf course.
Or travel. Maybe you want to travel.
Travel, exercise more, and perhaps you might move and meet new people in the golf club or, whatever it is you're doing. So that's something that you definitely want to think about and do a little bit of planning and talking. And then I think it starts taking some of the fear away from the idea of, losing the structure of having that 9-to-5 job.
Right. And also making sure that you create social connections with other people that have the same interests as you is really important as well, to make sure that you're part of a community.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is self-care is now your new priority. It's very important that you make sure that you are taking care of yourself, both physically and mentally, to make sure that you're as happy and healthy as you could possibly be in your retirement. It's really important to make sure that you're staying active and engaged and exploring new interests, and really you need to enjoy yourself in your retirement.
Yeah. The old saying, a body in motion stays in motion. We've got some great examples right now of some people that we know. One of our friends just turned 75 years old, and he plays basketball, he plays soccer, he is active, and he's fit and healthy and energetic and feels great. And we know other people who are close in the same age, but they don't really do very many physical activities, and they're having a hard time even, walking long distances without sitting down and resting. And I think the older you get, the more important it is to keep yourself moving and get out there and do things. Otherwise you start to atrophy and just get weaker. And, maybe...
And also keeping your mind active as well.
Yeah.
Don't just sit and watch TV all the time.
Learn something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Learn a new language. That's certainly challenging.
Yeah, we've been learning French. Yes.
Yeah.
May we?
We.
And perhaps we're considering painting. So, you could do that. So, yeah. So the next big topic is, of course, your finances. As you're still working, you're building your finances, and when you retire, you're withdrawing from your finances, and that is an enormous mind shift to go from saving to spending, and making sure that you have the resources to be able to do that. And learning about Social Security, there's 1,000 websites out there that can give you information on it, but learn about the differences in when you claim your Social Security and what that means to you, and Medicare, and what the different options are for you with Medicare. And that way you're kind of going into this understanding. And the last category in finances is really learning to live within your means. You have X amount of resources, don't overdo it. You need that money to last. And so that is a big, important thing.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely easy to, retire. You have all this excitement and you want to try all these new activities or travel. And, it's really easy to overdo it because you're so used to getting that paycheck all the time and, refilling your bank account with your paycheck. Well, that's not probably going to happen now that you're retired. So you really have to be mindful that you don't overdo it.
That's right.
You can always buy that item in a little while after you've really assessed how much money you have and what it's like.
Definitely, yeah.
So the last thing is finding fulfillment within retirement. Creating a meaningful life for you, might mean finding your passions, maybe painting or playing golf or whatever it is that is interesting to you, and maybe adapting to the change in your new retirement world.
Yeah, and the greater world too. I mean, think how the world's changed in 15 years. I think of my parents, and 15, 20 years ago, there were no iPhones, there were no iPads, and how, the internet was, dial up, and you didn't really do anything on it other than check email. Now everything we do is based on that. And you look at AI coming into the world, and how is that going to change our world in the next 10, 15, 20 years? And that's something that we all have to be up to speed on, because we don't want to be left behind by those things. Yeah. But while the young people have a grasp on all of those things, you've got wisdom, you've got lifelong experience, and sharing that with others is important too. Yeah.
Definitely.
So these are our points about the kind of life before and life after. If you have anything to add, please leave a comment. And as I mentioned at the beginning, do me a huge favor, just hit subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, and give us a thumbs up.
Yep.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.